Hello and welcome back to the show. For the next few months, we will be using this platform to allow viewers to get to know and interact with our 2020 Democratic political candidates, as well as discuss current issues. In order for us to make the change that we want to see in this world, we have to be educated and politically active. On the Hagir show, we are trying to do our part to raise awareness. And today we have with us Amanda, and without further ado, I will let her introduce herself and tell us who she is, and then we can talk about her campaign and everything else. Hi, Amanda, and welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me. So my name is Amanda Waldman. I'm running for State House District 84. That's Lycoming County and part of Union County. It does not include Williamsport, South Williamsport, Montgomery, or Loyalsock in Lycoming County. That is all the 83rd district. And I am White Deer and Gregg Townships in Union County. So a little about myself. My family has lived in this district for many generations. We've counted back, we're up to 8 generations so far. But there are a lot more we're uncovering. Our grandparents recently passed away, so they were the last, and we now have all that to go through. All of their memories, all of their photos, all of the family trees. Mm-hmm. So my entire career has been dedicated to the service of the people in this area. I've been in food service for over 30 years, social services, healthcare, and retail. And I've always tried to make a positive impact in everyone's life that I've met. I know firsthand how the decisions in Harrisburg affect us. Mm-hmm. Unintended consequences seem to hit us very hard in rural Pennsylvania. And this district has been run by Republican politicians for the past 50 years. And I can't say that they've done anything for me that has helped my family, that has helped me get ahead. I've worked 3 jobs at a time just to make ends meet. I'm a single mother. I have 2 sons. One is now an adult. He is a corrections officer, and my youngest is 14. Mm-hmm. So our politicians have not helped our communities. They haven't helped our small businesses, especially right now during the pandemic. Our small businesses are really, really hurting. And the funding that was made available was not enough for the smallest of the small businesses. And they are the ones that are hurting the most right now. They're the ones that are facing closing their doors forever and giving up their dream. And to me, that's as un-American as it gets.
Agree.
America is all based on living your dream, making your dream a reality. It's why we are held up as a light around the world. It's what we're supposed to be able to do. And then in times like these, when we focus on big business and we focus on corporation and we focus on campaign donors, our small businesses and our main streets are the ones that get hurt in the process. That's a little about why I'm running. I've had enough. I've had enough of people looking me in the eye and telling me they're going to do one thing, and they do the exact opposite. They spin their words, they spin their stories, and they don't do what they promised, which was to make our lives a little better and listen to us. Mm-hmm. So.
And that's one of many, many reasons that having someone we can really relate to and trust is important. Not just this year. I know this year is very important and more important than any other year. You know, when we say vote like your life depends on it, it's exactly our life depending on this. And I think that's what the message we're taking from your small introduction, that you, just like many of us here in Pennsylvania and in your district, have listened and saw the politicians that were elected not doing what they're supposed to do for the community. And that's what got you to be inspired and run, correct?
Yes. I actually used to work in Harrisburg. In 2008, I was an intern in Lieutenant Governor Catherine Baker Knowles' office.
Mm-hmm.
And when that was over, I swore I was not going back to Harrisburg. I didn't want to deal with the lobbyists and watching elected officials not do their job, and let their constituents down over and over again. But then every election year, I see them saying how they've done great things and they're protecting people, and they've done none of it.
Yeah.
I've watched them do none of it. And this year in February, I was a late throw my hat into the ring, because I just woke up one morning and I don't know what news story I saw. I'm not really sure, but I thought, you know what? I am done. I'm going to try and really make a difference, because no one listened to my neighbors. No one listened to me. I had one of our elected officials actually call me a paid protester, even though I had voted for them and I live in their district. And I thought, you don't even know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what I have to say. But because I dare come to you to talk about something, that makes me a paid protester.
And I think that's the theme for this whole 4 years of Trump presidency, name calling, the fear tactic. And we all know this is part of being a dictator, and being someone who's not listening to your voters, not listening to the citizens. And what surprised me is that everything that the Republican Party, and I always say now it's not Democrat versus Republican, it's human against whatever is happening right now. And what is really shocking to me that even I'm a Democrat, but I always had or thought about the Republican as someone just like the Democrat will follow the rules, the laws, that they will hold the Constitution. This is not being happening, and for people to not see this and see the change that is happening now. And if we don't stop that, we are going to have 4 more years of the same problem. And this is not just the presidency election, but even the offices. Like your office is as important to me as the presidency, because you're the one who are going to determine and make decisions that is going to affect your district. Can we talk about the issues that are more important to you, and what really got you to think, okay, this is not addressed and I can make a difference?
So there's a huge difference between what happens at the federal level and what is happening here.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to stay completely focused on my local area.
Yeah.
My opponent is running on federal issues. And he's running on issues that are protected in the Pennsylvania Constitution. So I have to wonder if he's spent any time paying attention to Pennsylvania's Constitution and understands what it would take to change any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself, I can't imagine 2/3 of Pennsylvanians voting to change, the protections for our Second Amendment rights here. I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
So to be so completely blind to what the real issues are small businesses. They've been struggling and they've been asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
And not a word. Our children just went back to school. My son just started school today. He's doing online because I have MS. And so I'm in a higher risk category. So for right now, he's home. He's doing virtual with his own teachers, live streaming from the classroom. My school district is amazing. All of the school districts in the area have gone above and beyond to try and do the best that they can with what little guidance they have. And then there's the blame game going on, the finger pointing, the adults acting like small spoiled children. This isn't a kindergarten classroom. This is our future.
Yeah.
This is our life. And I don't understand how anyone can look at any of this and not know what's really happening here at home.
Mhm.
Our families are struggling. They don't make minimum wage. I come from working 3 jobs. I was raised that I could do anything if I was willing to work hard.
Mhm.
And if I still couldn't make it, then I needed to work a little harder. And so that's what I've always done. I work hard and then I work a little harder. And to see people that don't understand that and don't understand why I would have to work 3 jobs to pay the bills, because my minimum wage was $7 an hour.
Yeah.
You know, what am I supposed to pay? 1 full-time job, 2 part-time jobs, and I still could barely make it. And that is the story everywhere. That's everywhere. But it's especially here in rural Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
especially in this rural T. You know, our values, our work ethic, our elected officials don't have a clue what it means to work hard, what it means to persevere, what it means to push through. And they have no idea what it's like to actually work together.
Mhm.
So I'm a registered Democrat because my grandfather was.
Mhm.
He was very politically active, as am I. Um, I'm a blue dot in a sea of red, all of my neighbors. But you know
Yeah.
what? I know all of my neighbors. I talk to all of my neighbors. I'm surrounded by fantastic people, small farms, regular working class people. And I don't care how you registered to vote. That doesn't matter to me at all. What matters to me is that when we have an issue, when there's a problem, when something happens out here, a few years ago, one of the neighbors' houses burned down.
Mhm.
We all came together and we checked on them and we brought them food and we did everything we could. And it didn't matter. I still to this day have no idea if that family's registered as a Democrat or a Republican. It didn't matter because there was something that needed done. So
Yeah.
we all came together and did it. And we all moved forward. And
Because as human, it shouldn't matter, truly. As long as you're doing the right thing and they're doing the right thing, and like you said, you will be there and help. And that's the key point. Uh, if I elected a Republican and who is not going to help me or help my neighbor because we held the same, different political view than them, then he is not there to serve. He's just there to serve a specific group of people, and he shouldn't be elected. I mean, this is democracy. Um, but for uh, your neighbor, for example, and that's, I mean, that's could be for another day. You know, it blows my mind that there's a fine line between opinions and political differences, and between being inhumane, period. So when you get to that point, does it really matter if you are a registered Republican, if you see what is happening now? What will be your advice to your Republican neighbors, or someone who is struggling between what their family is always being Republican, and he always or she always voted Republican, and now they see the unethicals is done, and they see that we are heading towards a very bad direction if we don't stop this current government, for example. What would be your advice to that person?
so I think about this a lot. And I always hear the quote, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think I studied history and English in college. And I have always been fascinated with the founding fathers and that they literally locked themselves together in a room until they created our country.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. Everyone's so apathetic. All politicians are liars. I myself hate when someone refers to me as a politician.
Mm-hmm.
I need a dictionary definition because I am running for office.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a politician in the sense that people think of. I'm not going to look at any of the people in this district and lie to them.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to turn anyone away. If our founding fathers had done that, we wouldn't have a country. We would be Canada too. And I think everyone is missing that point, that unity is what matters right now.
Yeah.
We are all going to have a difference of opinion. We are all individuals. We have our own free will. We also have guaranteed rights, guaranteed freedoms.
Which are we going to lose?
See, if we refuse to work together and we refuse to continue a multi-party system, which I have heard, I haven't heard it recently. People say, there should only be one party. That just in human nature isn't possible.
Yeah.
What is possible is for me to have a conversation with a neighbor and be able to find all of the things that we have in common, rather than the couple of things that we don't. So it's the same in my own house. My oldest son, brilliant with math, brilliant. Calculus, he aced it. He barely had to try. It just clicks. I, on the other hand, I had to really work in algebra and calculus. That wasn't just plain math. I'm fine with the plain math, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a million other things in common.
Yeah.
Not just because he's my son, but, we love to go hiking. We like to fish. We like to hunt. Just because we have a difference of opinion on how useful calculus could be in the future doesn't mean that we can no longer talk. It doesn't mean that we can't find what we have in common and work together on that. And that really is what drove me to run.
Yeah.
That's how I have been my whole life. I want to find what we have in common. Something needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
Let's fix it. I can't do that for you. We have to do it together.
And you cannot ask or expect a change to happen in the world and something wrong to be fixed, and before you can actually do something about it. Like you said, we have to try.
I can't just stand and stomp my feet and shake my fist.
Or complain or make a status.
Yeah, until an adult gives in. Because guess what? We're the adults.
Yeah.
We're the adults. We don't get to stand here and have a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
That stage passed at 2. If you're still throwing a temper tantrum to get your own way,
you might just be
have a problem. I think I have a problem, and so we focus a lot on Donald Trump. I really try not to.
Yeah.
I supported Andrew Yang through the whole primary. Go Yang Gang. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I love him. Yes, I did.
But he is
I'm a Bernie supporter, though.
He's a product of years of failure. Years of politicians lying, not fully doing the job.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend the Twitter tirades or the lack of foresight or planning for a future or anything that I myself personally believe he's failed at. Because there are others who believe he's done good. And to each their own. We're allowed to have those differing opinions. It's what makes us great here.
As long as it's like I said earlier, the opinion that is stopped when it affects human right and constitution.
And when does the point become I'm a horrible person because he's not my favorite?
Yeah.
And when did my neighbor become a horrible person because he is their favorite? That to me doesn't make sense. Like, he is a product of what's been happening.
Yeah.
And the only way to address the hatred that's bubbling up is to fix it. It's to look at each other and see that you and I are both humans. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. None of this other stuff matters.
Yeah.
What matters is that we come together and we work on all the things that are broken, and we make each side see this works great for you and this works great for me.
Yeah.
What's in the middle here that works for all of us, or at least the vast majority of us? You know, blue collar America didn't vote for Trump because their lives were great.
Yeah.
They voted because they needed to take a chance and make a difference.
Yeah.
And well, I'm going to have to give them props on this. There's certainly a difference than there was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Even into that,
Not what anyone expected.
that's the only prop I'm giving him, is a lot of things have changed. But I don't believe that those factory jobs came back,
Yeah.
that the good paying jobs came back, that they can now make a really great, solid, upper middle class living.
Yeah.
Those jobs are still gone. And they're gone because not only does he not want to work on party lines, but none of the other elected officials do either.
Yeah.
I want to work across party lines. I'm tired of the back and forth every 4-year battle. One side does something, the other side undoes it. The other side does something. And it's every 4 years there's this battle because we're not working together.
So we're basically not moving forward.
Right. We're not finding common ground. We're not trying hard enough. We're not working hard enough. We're giving handouts to corporations.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, families are struggling because they have to work multiple jobs. Well, working multiple jobs also means I lost a lot of time with my children, a lot of parenting time with my kids that I'll never get back. You never get back a single day that you've lost.
Absolutely.
But they had a roof over their head and they had clothes on their back and they had food on the table. So which is,
it will affect greatly, and just like so many of the other issues that you are passionate about. I mean, we all should be able to, like you said, make a minimum wage that is comfortable enough for us to have a living, like live, not work to live. I mean, not live to work, but work to live. Like you are making, I made 6.5. That's how much I was making. And that was unreal. Like you said, I had to work 2 jobs in order for me to just afford. And then you are facing childcare. You are paying money out of pocket for someone to watch your kids. So you can work those 2 jobs. So basically, you're bringing in the money and you're giving it back. And you don't know why you're doing this, basically. So it's the minimum wages, raising the minimum wage, and allowing families to make enough to survive and support their kids and be parent, basically. Helping with single parenting, because you lived it. You had to deal with this whole one income issue and juggling between being with your kids, going to work or going to their activities, be there. I schedule myself around them, and I try to be there all the time, but sometimes you can't. You are stretched to the max. And that's like one of the issues. What other issues that are you passionate about? That could affect your community, your district.
So one of the patterns of behavior in our legislature, and this is both parties, we pass a lot of Band-Aid legislation.
Mm-hmm.
We pass a lot of new laws, but we have nothing in place for enforcement, or we've cut enforcement budgets. So we can pass new laws till the cows come home, but if there's no one to enforce them, what good did it do? Mm-hmm. And if when we pass legislation, we're not looking to tomorrow, what good has it done? If we didn't look at the effects that this is going to have down the road, how can we say that this is a successful piece of legislation, or it's necessary, it's definitely needed, if we have no idea and we didn't bother to take the time to see what happens tomorrow or 5 years from now?
Yeah.
One of the big issues for me as well, I'm surrounded by 5 fracking wells. None of them are on my property.
Mm-hmm.
So the fracking, that's one thing. It's a new industry. I understand that it is necessary now.
Mm-hmm.
I've also had 2 spills within 15 miles of my home. I live close to the Loyal Sock Creek on Route 87. People in the district will know where I'm talking about, but we just had 2 spills. It falls on us, the taxpayer, to clean that up.
Yeah.
Right now, we're in a pandemic. Our businesses are failing. They're closing. People are out of work. We're running out of unemployment. We can't keep charging,
Yeah.
And going into debt further and further without paying anything off. It's the equivalent of being, owning your own home and going and getting a new credit card every month, maxing it out, and never paying it off. That's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
That is in no way fiscally responsible. And on top of it, instead of addressing those problems that we already have, we just doubled down.
Yeah.
We passed House Bill 732. 25 years of tax credits and giveaways. It's corporate welfare. And any other time in this country, corporate welfare was fought against. And all of a sudden, this is a great idea. That bill does not guarantee how long jobs will be here.
Yeah.
It doesn't guarantee how many people must be employed for any length of time. It doesn't guarantee that any of the contractors building this are Pennsylvanians. I mean, there is language they're supposed to be whenever available. What exactly does that mean? And how often have we passed legislation that we can really trust to work as it's supposed to?
Yeah.
And we're giving away money to corporations, billion-dollar corporations.
Yeah.
We're giving them billions of dollars. Who's going to pick up that tab?
Yeah.
That's us. It's you and me. That's who's picking up the tab. So I understand we absolutely need to draw in new revenue sources. We need new jobs. We need new industry. But giving money away is not the way to attract new business. We're already ranked 13th friendliest to corporation. Like, this isn't, or to, I'm sorry, to the wealth. We're the 13th friendliest to wealth out of the 50 states. We don't need any more giveaways on tax dollars. We don't need to overtax the people anymore. There are so many other ways to do it. We lost, for the past 12 years, we've lost over $3.9 billion in tax revenue because of previous tax giveaways. What could we be doing with $3.9 billion right now today? Who would that help? How many small businesses wouldn't be facing closing? Wouldn't be facing giving up their dreams? Or how many people?
You see, the problem is they bail the big companies who does not need the bailing, and that's why they keep going. Just like your opponents and many other Republican politicians who take money from big corporate. You are not. You're taking donation from your neighbor, your constituents. You're taking donation from everyone that is going to support you, and that how we guarantee you're not going to be bought.
Mm-hmm. How can we guarantee I'm not going to be bought?
Yeah.
So far, I've already refused to fill out endorsement applications. My door is not a revolving door for special interests.
Yeah.
I will hear everyone, but no special interest group is ever going to outrank a constituent. And my vote is not for sale. It never will be. That was one of the reasons I didn't want to be in Harrisburg. I watched it. So I will listen and I will take ideas back to the constituents. But running for House of Representatives to be a representative, this is a public servant position. It means I serve the public. Yeah. It's what I've done for 30 plus years. I'm not going to change now. Yeah. I only serve at the pleasure of the people who put me in office. And I think that has been forgotten. by everyone. They forget
You're right.
we're actually the boss. We outrank them. If you want a meeting with me, if you want to call me at 8 o'clock at night, I've been making phone calls on my own personal line.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone I talk to, I make sure they know this is my personal phone number. Regardless of what happens in November, this is my personal number. And if you need anything or you want an answer or you need someone to help you push to get something done, please pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah.
I will help you. And that's whether I'm in office or not, I will help you. And that's
an amazing attitude. And I really hope people listening to us right now will hear what you're trying to make across to them, what you're trying to make them understand, and vote. And I'm not going to say if you win, I'm going to say when you win, which we are going to all work together to help you not just share what you're passionate about, share your website, your Facebook page. Her page has volunteering opportunity. It has contribution. And with at this time, with the pandemic, we are not doing a regular, normal campaigning. This is a different circumstances. Can you explain what goes into your campaign and what you spend on to get your voice heard?
phone calls. And I know right now my campaign manager is listening and she is laughing because it's a daily conversation. How many phone calls? How many phone calls? I can't go knock doors. I mean, I could go knock a few doors, but I do not want to offend other people's decisions. So when you're in your own home, you're not wearing your mask. I'm not wearing mine.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that if people are coming over, I won't have a mask on.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, but I don't want to just spring onto people's homes. That's a personal choice that I have no idea about.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing every Monday nights I have an Ask Amanda. So if you're interested, anyone that is interested in joining, we send an email link. You can join me Monday nights. Meet me, ask me any question you have. And this is open to everyone. This isn't just a Democrat thing. This is everyone, because everyone in the district is a constituent. So trying to do fundraisers. This weekend, on Friday, we're actually doing a whistle stop tour with a candidate for state senate, Jackie Baker.
Okay.
And we're traveling all of Lycoming County. We start in Picture Ox and we're ending in Williamsport after we've literally traveled the entire district in a day. Saturday, we start our kayaking trip to Harrisburg, because each of the candidates that fall under the Pennsylvania Congressional, the 12th District with Lee Griffin, we're all dedicated to getting to Harrisburg. So each of us is kayaking, or there's also a road trip part for some of the candidates who can't kayak. We're going to get to Harrisburg and we're going to land in Harrisburg on Monday. So 3 days worth of kayaking, focusing on the area, on the people, on the environment, on one of the biggest recreational locations, is the Susquehanna River. Yeah. It's also, one of the most storied for Pennsylvania in general. So we have a birthday party and a first responders event. This is unprecedented, to say the least. And I just say how tired I am of that word. I'm tired of hearing that word. But it's a whole new way, a whole new journey.
And if we don't want to hear this word, and if we don't want to lose more right that we gain in the past, 100 and some years, if we don't want to lose this, we have to vote. Right. I mean, I'm not going to get tired of saying, vote like your life depends on it. Vote like your life depends on it, because it does. It depends on it. And
just your life that depends on it. You have to vote like your child's life depends on it. Yeah. Your grandchild's life depends on it. That is what is at stake. in every election. This one being the first really clear decision. This is the first in all the presidential elections that I've ever heard rhetoric the way that it is, that I've heard people hating each other and the violence and just the false narratives everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so much worse than I remember.
Yeah.
But it is our children and our grandchildren's future depends on this. Our lives, the fate of our country depends on this.
Yeah. And the division is not going to stop if we don't do anything about it.
Right. And that's not fear mongering. Mm-hmm. I'm adamant about that. Americans, we are stubborn. We can do anything. We can do anything. I truly believe that. But we've only
beautiful country with beautiful people. It's just, we have to get back to realize that and get back to what we have in common and learn to love each other, learn to respect each other's opinion and follow the laws. That's all we are asking for. Just respect that and you cannot change laws and regulation to fit your needs. You cannot say this is not right and this is right based on how you feel that day. That's why we have a clear, regulation. We have a justice system. We have constitution. We have things that we have to follow as politicians, as citizens, And if we lose track of that, we are going to lose everything that everyone before us was working hard for. People die to give you and I, as women, a right to vote, just as an example, So voting is very, very important. And voting this year is extremely important. And voting for you, Amanda, is very important. Yeah. And can you tell people again what is the ticket? Like this year is different. It is not like every year where you can just go down.
So this year, there's no more straight ballot voting in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. That's gone. So you actually have to go through the whole ballot and check a box beside someone's name.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started voting, it was, that name sort of looks familiar. I'll vote for that name. Here in the 84th district, it's rare that you have an option for this seat because this is a very Republican area. It's a very conservative area.
Yeah.
I myself am even more of a conservative Democrat, mm-hmm. Byproduct of how I grew up. So having an option is new. And when people would vote straight party, there were people that wouldn't even know that there was someone running for the seat on the other ticket. They never looked. Now you actually have to. Now you have to go down and choose who you want. All I can do is ask people to give me a chance, to show that I'm different and that I mean what I'm saying and that I am responsive and responsible to the people. But everyone needs to know that even if you don't want to vote on the top of the ticket, and there are people that won't, and mm-hmm. to each their own, it's their right. We mm-hmm. all have the right to vote. Please look down ballot. Vote for the other positions that are going to affect you directly.
Yeah.
As a state representative, I will directly affect this area. All of the representatives directly affect their homes. They directly affect their neighbors. The president, he's in DC. Does he affect us? Yes. Mm-hmm. Does he affect our local tax policy? Nope. Does he affect our property taxes? Nope. That's me.
And that's what people don't understand, that as important the presidency is, it's equally important to vote for your local offices, because this is what it directly affects you. And it's a permit. You have to vote if you have a very weak foundation you're not going to have a sturdy and strong house. And that's some wise candidate said that before, and I told her I'm going to use it because it just makes sense. You have to
Yeah.
have a foundation. You have to have a good foundation. But why is it dangerous to just vote for some name that you just know you heard that sound familiar? You said you said a
Dad,
great
I know
point.
that name, but you don't remember if you saw it on the 11 o'clock news the night before for a crime, or if you just saw it on a sign outside of a building.
Yeah.
If you only go by, well, I recognize that name, I'll just vote for that person. You may be voting for them because you heard something a while ago that wasn't positive.
Yeah.
You may be voting for a criminal.
Exactly. So basically, do
It
your
baffles me.
and you made that point, and I liked it really. It's a great point that negative publicity and positive publicity. It's all publicity. I will know your name, but like you said, it might be for a bad thing, and it might be for something that it's going to affect you negatively in the future. So do your research. Learn. Don't take Amanda's word, my words. Go look at her website, look at her page, follow her, ask questions, get to know your candidate, and get to know what they stand for. And I
Email
think
me. Give me a call.
give her a call.
Ask me.
She's just a human like you and I who wanted to do better. She could be doing anything with her time right now, and that's something people don't really realize and think about. Running to be a state house representative or a state representative. This is could be, yes, rewarding. You feel like you're making a difference, but it's a lot of hard work. And if she doesn't have her heart in it, learn that, get to know this, and I believe she will make a huge difference and impact in her district. And it's all on you to vote. Go to the website, donate, share, and most importantly, vote. And vote for the person that you learn about, not just a familiar name or a name you saw on a sign going in a voting booth, basically. And
Exactly.
Amanda, before we summarize everything that you said and that you stand for, just tell people again, why are you running? Like, if you can just summarize that, if someone just joined us, and I know you all can come back and watch after this life is over, after we finish the program. You can go back and listen from the beginning. Like I said, you can follow Amanda, and I will share all her information after we're done. But if someone just joined, like few people just join us now, what you stand for and what do you want people to know about you? If you can summarize that in like 10 minutes and get people to really know you.
So I am not a politician that you understand them to be. I understand that this is a public servant, that I am responsive to you. I'm not going to look you in the eye and lie to you. I'm not going to choose to have lunch for free with a lobbyist who's going to donate to my campaign. I'm running because we the people, have been absent from politics. We've been absent from the policies that get passed. We're absent from thought in our legislators' minds. Enough is enough. I've had enough. I'm asking all of you if you've also had enough. You have an option to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
You have an option for your voice to be heard. There are so many first-time, really great candidates, and we're all running because no one's listening to us. No one listens to rural America. No one listens to rural Pennsylvania. Nobody works even half as hard as rural Pennsylvanians do. We have our farmers. We have beautiful surroundings. We understand each other so much better than any talking head on a TV screen or a radio program.
Mhm.
We don't hate our neighbors. We don't hate each other. I'm running because I'm tired of seeing that. I know there's a better way. And I know that everybody has really great ideas and they all have their own issues and own problems. It's time that you have someone who's a voice for you, someone who's going to listen to what you tell them. If you come to me and you say, our property taxes are ridiculous,
Mhm.
my neighbor is losing their home because they're on a fixed income, I'm not going to go to Harrisburg and say, hey, let's cut public education funding. Hey, let's give some more tax breaks to huge billion-dollar corporations.
Mhm.
And then come back to you and say, there, I fixed your problem. No, I just made it 10 times worse.
Yeah.
That is not what I'm going to do. That is not what we deserve. We deserve so much better than what we've gotten. I'm running to be better. I'm running to do better by you. Yeah.
And if you wanted to know more about the issues that Amanda is more passionate about, it's all listed in her website or the northcentralpa.com website. Also, I will share about our candidate later on so you get to know her more. But please, if you have any way of volunteering, and that goes for all our candidates, Democratic candidate for 2020, we are willing and able to help and switch and change this election. And like Amanda said, this is not just your life depend on it, your kids, your grandkids. Everyone life is depending on this election. And it is not just the president, but your offices. Learn about your elected official. Make a difference. And if you want to make a change in this world, you have to be that change. And you cannot just stand there and watch and complain. You have to do something. And this is the time. So learn about your candidates. Remember that it is not a one ticket. Remember that no one knows once you cast your vote if you are Republican. And we got few questions and comments from friends that don't know what to do. No one is going to know. This is your voting time. Once you put that curtain or when you send your mailing ballot, and that's another thing, the mail, I think we talked to people before that you can actually take it and drop it. Did you discuss that, Amanda, with your
I do discuss that here. So you can get your mail-in ballot here in Pennsylvania. They should be arriving last week of September, first week of October. You can mail it back immediately. You can take it into voter services offices. Sometimes they're in your local county courthouse. Here in Williamsport, in my district, in Lycoming County, it's right straight across the road from the county courthouse. You walk in, you drop it off, you leave. It goes into a bin. No one's touching it. No one's looking at them. You're just dropping them off. They make sure you have your signature. You've filled out the front form, and that's it. You can take it into a polling place. You have to make sure you have both of your envelopes. If you request a mail-in ballot, you don't have to use it. You have to take it with you, blank, to your polling place. You have to take in that ballot and both envelopes that come with it to be mailed back. You have to take the whole thing to your polling place in order to vote in person. But there are so many options. You don't have to wonder with everything going on with the Postal Service. And I know so many postal carriers, and they are doing their best and they are working so hard. But if you're nervous that your vote won't be counted, take it with you. Take it to voter services. They don't have to rely on the mail.
Yeah.
You know, take it to your polling place on election day if you've changed your mind. You have so many options. This is just one more.
And I think you answered a very important question that it goes in every or many people's mind. I heard someone said, I filled to vote by mail or an absentee ballot, and now I'm going to be able to vote. What should I do? Amanda just answered that for you guys. You can take that document, the paper that you received with you, not fill it. You can go walk and vote there. But make sure if you want to vote by mail, you can actually drop it. And we know there is a lot of issue going on with the mail providers now, and with Trump is trying to undermine the democracy. So don't allow this to affect your vote. Take your mailing ballot, drop it at your courthouse or your absentee ballot. You can do the same for the absentee ballot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you heard it. There is no excuse if you wanna. And actually, if you go to votespa.com, you can follow that mailing ballot. Correct?
Yes.
I heard that. I wasn't sure if it's accurate, but I think you can follow and make sure that it got to the right place. So there is no excuse. If you can't go in person, you can mail it or take it with you or do the absentee ballot and follow your vote until you make sure it got there. That's basically the main thing that we want everyone to do is to vote. And Amanda, before we finish, if there is last words that you want people to hear from you, you can give also your information out, your website, or where do you want people to check and contact you?
Okay. You can find me online at waldmanforthe84th.org. On Facebook, it's Waldman for the 84th. You can email me at waldmanforthe84th@gmail.com. Send me an instant message on Facebook. Drop me an email. I'm on Twitter and on Instagram as well. Amanda for the 84th. I'm sorry, Waldman for the 84th. So any way that you want to reach out, reach out. You have a question you don't want to ask live, you don't, want other people knowing you're considering a Democrat. I won't tell them. If you doubt that I am sincere, please look through my friends list.
Yeah.
Please reach out to any of them. They will tell you what I'm saying to you is real. I have never been afraid to stand up to people to protect others, and I've never been afraid to stand up and protect others. And right now, in this moment, I feel that is what we need, is someone who's willing to stand up and protect each other. So again, www.waldmanforthe84th.org, waldmanforthe84th@gmail.com, or Waldman for the 84th on Facebook. It's Amanda Waldman. You can also go to my personal page. Send me a message. I always reply.
And here you heard it. Thank you, Amanda, for giving us the time to come and talk to everyone watching now and to explain why it is important this year more than any other years. More than any other time you have voted before, and why it is important to get to know your candidates. And we learned a lot about Amanda today, her sincerity, her willing to help and stand for her district and to fight for her people. So please go back, listen to the show again if you have to, do whatever you have to learn about Amanda. Share. If you don't live in that district, which most of our listeners live in different districts, if you know someone there, share that with them. have them know Amanda, know her name, and find who's your candidate in your district and vote. Vote, vote, vote. I cannot stress this enough. Thank you again, Amanda, and thank you
for having me.
everyone for watching, and have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.